And the
Yeah.
curriculum at my school is quite, especially for year seven. So this would be the first year of high school, I guess would be the equivalent. Quite ambitious for their age group.
Yeah.
We study, they have a chronological curriculum. So we start in year seven with them with the Odyssey, with Homer's Odyssey. And that then progresses
Fabulous.
into Beowulf, into the Canterbury Tales,
Wow. Yeah, yeah.
into Julius Caesar. So that
Wow.
becomes the syllabus, and that's a year seven. That's their first year of secondary or high school.
Oh,
Um,
that's exciting.
yeah, it is, and I hadn't ever read Homer's Odyssey in its entirety, and of course
Really?
did. I know because
Which version did you read?
so this was the. I mean, there's been several adapted texts because the translation was always so inaccurate, and it's been
Yeah.
reprinted and republished, ad infinitum, and the same again actually with the Canterbury Tales. A lot of those the original version just didn't exist, so they've had to extrapolate a lot of the text and the story.
Sure.
Um, but I'd only ever studied it sort of, it was always in the context of a drama class. It was always let's extract this Odysseus monologue. Let's look at, him talking about Scylla or Charybdis or the Cyclops or any of these sort of, these fantastical characters. It was always out of context. It was always for the purpose of exploring through performance. Whereas, of
Yeah.
course, very different when you're sat behind the desk. It's all about comprehension and understanding. And it actually did that definitely helped me and encouraged me to get into something that perhaps I wouldn't have sought out purely for entertainment or from
Mm-hmm.
the purpose of just consuming material. It gave it a reason for me to do it because I wanted to make
Right.
sure I was the one I could be a go-to. If you never want to be in a position where you feel like you have to blag it, in a conversation with a student or whatever. You want to feel informed, and I felt pretty secure in my subject knowledge for drama, but definitely not
Right.
for English. So it was a
Ah,
great. I saw it as a great opportunity, and it was also just a great story as well, which then
yeah.
leads into the curriculum. I think is really well designed because I then started year eight with Romeo and Juliet, which again
Oh,
had never read in its entirety. I'd only studied sections of it.
sure.
My background was Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, Cymbeline. They were
Sure.
the plays that I and The Tempest as well. They were the ones I
Love
absolutely
the
ate up
Tempest.
growing up. But I
Yeah.
hadn't ever properly read Romeo and Juliet, and my teaching gave me the reason to do that,
Wow.
which was
That's
a
great.
great thing. Do you think you've been surprised sometimes by the material you've ended up actually
Oh,
really
sure.
connecting
Oh,
with?
absolutely. Absolutely.
It definitely was
Yeah.
for
I mean,
me.
a good example of that was Moby Dick. I mean, I
Right.
had sort of always bought into the notion that it was unreadable, that it was just so, ridiculously bound up in the minutia of
Mhm.
whaling. And I thought, well, how can that possibly be interesting? And indeed, the story that we know from like the film with Gregory Peck is a very, very, small portion of the book itself.
Yeah.
But the world as it is revealed in that book is absolutely extraordinary. And there are some images that I don't think I'll ever forget.